Hmm.
We are. That's what we're called to do. We're called to take back what the enemy stole because he has stolen so much from so many people. Most people know me as Tab Scheffler. I'm Tabitha Scheffler. I am the director and CEO of Path of Life Ministry and the God of Second Chances. A lot of the people that I see in counseling are people that have been hurt in tremendous way. They've been traumatized, whether they've been trafficked or they've been drug mules from the time they were 3, or they have been in abusive situations for long periods of time. Those are the people that God brings our way. And one of the first things that I look at when I'm looking at the people God brings is what Satan has tried to destroy, has tried to take from God's family.
Mhm.
And God says that that one sheep is important to him. I work with a lot of families, and one of the things that I teach them first is praise. And that might sound like a really interesting thing when you're coming out of trauma. But when you're coming out of trauma, you're a victim and you want to tell your story and you want to talk about all the pain you've had. And there is a place for that. But if I don't infuse some kind of praise or some kind of hope and joy into these people's lives, then they have no way of getting better. Jesus is the answer in everything. So when I first start to see them, I talk about books that I'm in the middle of writing. For adults, I'm writing Redemption in the First Degree and Monster in the Mirror. And it talks about how we see ourselves and how God sees us and how we have to start changing how we see ourselves to be more in line with how God sees us. In Redemption that I'm working on, it talks about that there is nothing that we can do that can stop us from being saved, that God loves everyone, and how to forgive ourselves, how to forgive other people, and how to accept God for who he is. That's a huge, difficult thing when it comes to someone who's been through so much trauma. And then I also have a children's line that I'm working on, which is Droplets. It's God's Little Droplets, that also talks about God's love and how that works. But when I first start with them, I start talking about praise. You know, I found it really interesting that there are 7 types of praise in Hebrew, but there's only one word for it in English. And each of those types of praises are different. And in the line of work that I do, because they're so different, I can teach them to them, and it changes literally your metabolism. It changes the chemicals in your body and what is going on. I know that one of them is Hallel. And Hallel means to leap joyfully for God. A lot of times as a counselor, we know that if we can get your dopamine to start being released, we can give you some relief from pain. We can give you some relief from depression or from anxiety. And so one of the things that we teach them is how to dance. Hallel is one of those ways. We have I have several families that I work with right now that are in need of housing. Some of these people that are trafficked, they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to be a parent. They don't know how to do bills. They don't know how to get a job. One young lady in particular was trafficked for about 25 years. So when we get her out, then what happens to these young people? They're on their own. And a lot of them will go to drugs in order to survive. They will sit there and they will use any coping skills, maladaptive coping skills possible, alcohol, drugs, the sex trade, because that's all they know. What we try to do at Path of Life Ministry is give them another option. And that option, we help with housing, we help with food, we help with counseling, we help with mentoring. I remember a story that probably is one of my most favorite stories of a young lady who came through to the office in a tutu. And everybody stared at her. We had probably a congregation of 600 at the time. and they couldn't figure out why this young lady was so different. So they called me in. They said, you're the counselor around here. Could you figure out what's going on? And I said, sure. I'll talk to her. So we talked, and we talked a lot. She had to learn how to trust me first. And when she did finally trust me, her comment was, you don't understand what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. These people don't know the Jesus that we know, mm-hmm. the Jesus that will provide for them, the Jesus that will show them how loved they are, mm-hmm. and how wanted they are. And it's our job to show them. So at Path of Life Ministries, we try to do that through many different ways of doing it. This particular young lady, come to find out, wore a tutu because it was the only place that she was safe where she wasn't being hurt at. She was actually being molested from the time she was 3 until she was well over 27 mm-hmm. years old. She didn't even have a childhood. She doesn't know what to look for or how to be an adult. I'm happy to report that that young lady, although still having significant problems, has 2 children at this, no, 3 children. Brand new one came around, but she has 3 children and she is learning. She is learning who Jesus is, and it's because we walk with her. We don't throw her out. We don't yell at her for being different. We don't criticize her or judge her because of some of the things that she does from time to time. And in fact, she has learned so much that now today, she's actually serving the staff of the conference by cooking some of the meals because she wanted to give back to others that have given so much to her. When we love others, they in turn love others. I've had the opportunity to hear from other people that she has now helped, that didn't know how to get housing, that didn't know where to go for welfare. And she's now passing it along. And when she asked me at first, why would you even look at me? Why would you talk to me? My comment to her at the time was, because you are so very special to God. Mm-hmm. Now her comment was, didn't you know? You're so very special to God. So it's great to start to see the turnaround. We have seen at Path of Life Ministry, we've been open for 12 years and we have seen over 300 families, and we walk with 5 families for a couple of years. And we'll be continuing to do so, but just like every other ministry, it's hard to help when you don't have the funding, and when we started to have some of the problems that we've had with immigrants coming over, they took all the funding or a lot of the funding for those who have been hurt so bad. Victims advocacy agencies are ceasing to exist. Some of the money's out there that we were able to get to help some of these young ladies. The good thing is God sees this and God knows it. And the exciting thing for me is I know, because I've heard it time and time again, God's got it. It's one of my favorite songs from Jay Moss. And if you put in Jay Moss and put God's got it, it will come up. And what he says is, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are. It doesn't matter what you're going through. God's got it. And that is what I'm determined to teach these young ladies, is God's got it. So there are cups that we are starting to produce. We're just getting ready to. And if you would like to support the ministry, that would be a way of doing so, is through purchasing the 7 different types of praise cups. We have them for each and every one. And it's just a reminder for you, as well as, helping us out on all the 7 different types of praise and what it does. I love it that some of the praises are bowing on our knees and just in awe and reverence, and yet other ones are leaping for joy, just like David did. Both of those do different things, but in the whole, God tells us in obedience, praise me. Look on that which is good. And what I start to show the young ladies and the young men that I work with is when they stop looking at how hurt they are, how bad off they are, and they start looking at how good God is. Somehow that cloud doesn't become so dark. Thank you so much for giving me the time to talk about this. I so appreciate it. And it is so my heart.
Yes.
There is links that are going to be put up for the mugs. We are getting ready to do so. So if you shoot me an email, I've put my email address up there and the website up there. If you shoot me an email, I will make sure that you get it, the link to them as soon as it's up and moving. I think it works, but since I'm not sure, I don't want to just give a direct link. But email me, let me know that you're interested, and I would love to send you some cups.
Yeah, I so believe in what Tab is doing. I can't begin to tell you how much I believe in her and this ministry. And you amaze me. I mean, the people she works with, they can't pay her, you know, they're barely surviving. She's been getting up at 5 a.m. a couple mornings during the conference because she had to do housing needs for 3 families. They couldn't stay in Jersey. You can't stay in one place and in a hotel for more than 14 days. And so she's, you know, wee hours of the morning, moving them, trying to find another place, another way, the funding. Tab, you're brilliant in terms of you know the system, you're working the system because you love, because you care so much. And yes, you can donate and get a cup, or you can just say, you know, I want to bless this ministry. And I can't begin to tell you how this conference wouldn't be happening without Tab. She is the technical genius behind all of this and has worked so hard. I don't know how you've done everything you've done, but she has. And so you know, please, Father, I'm just asking you to bless this work that is so close to your heart, Lord, because you care about these people who don't come from the beautiful family and the smiling faces. You know, children who have never seen smiles on the faces of their parents. Maybe they've seen rage instead. And Lord, you love these children, you love these women, and just the abuse going on in our nation is just, and it's worldwide, Lord. And so this is grassroots. Yes, last night my pastor talked about a big international organization. They're making a difference, but this is coming down to the nitty gritty of what do I do day by day with women, with families that don't have anything, that don't know how to cook a meal, that don't have a job, that don't even have identification. Lord, we need a miracle here, and I'm asking you for a miracle. I'm asking you to open the floodgates of heaven. Please do it, Father. Please do it. Tab, thank you. I love you so much. I really do.